Bad news, everyone. Looks like we have to talk about this shitty game one last time. Despite what I said in the last video, I actually didn't have any intention of making a Sonic 4 video until months from now, when I had really run out of ideas. I thought I could just casually mention that Sonic 4 sucks and everyone would be okay with it. I didn't realize I was summoning the Sonic 4 Defense Force. I wasn't even that harsh to the game, I only called it a pile of shit. If someone calls something you like a pile of shit, you can just shake it off, guys, it's no big deal. Now I'm gonna have to fucking rub your noses in this shit and make you feel bad for liking it. So just remember, I didn't want to do this, you made me do this. Where do I even begin? This game's presentation is like some kind of horrible nightmare. Can you even compare the bright, meticulously detailed sprites of the Genesis games to this muddled garbage? Sonic himself just looks like shit. No, I don't give a fuck that he has his green eyes or uses his modern appearance, he just looks like shit. I mean, look at this fucking run animation, good lord! The animations completely lack the fluidity necessary to convey a satisfying sense of speed. Why do all the character models look like they were rendered in Fulbright? They don't even look like they're actually part of the environment. Overall, this game's art style is just nauseating to me, but I know a lot of people think this shit looks good for some reason, so I'll just move on to the music. God fucking damn it, even if the music was only pretty good, I would be tearing it apart. But it's not even pretty good, guys. It's fucking bad. Good music is crucial to making a good and memorable Sonic game, and this music sucks. It fucking sucks, dude. It fucking sucks. Again, I'm not going to spend too long talking about this one because it's fairly self-evident, and I'm sure there are people out there who actually like this, but Jesus fucking Christ do I find this shit grating. Especially the fucking clownish boss music. Remember the boss music from Sonic 3? That music was good, kind of intimidating or imposing, and most important of all, it was actually good. Now let's listen to the Sonic 4 boss theme. There are only two things you can say, really. Fuck you. Some people were accusing me of hating this game just because it didn't use the exact same physics as the Genesis games. Now, while I don't see anything wrong with wanting a new Sonic game to just use the physics from the originals, since those games are great and fun, not to mention it's a fairly reasonable thing to expect from a game that's literally fucking advertising itself as being a sequel to those games, but that's not even why I hate it. I don't hate it because it's different, I hate it because it's fucking bad and not fun to play. First of all, the spin dash fucking sucks shit in this game. You don't even gain momentum when rolling downhill, what the fuck? There is literally no sense of inertia at all, Sonic feels totally weightless. If you stop holding right, you immediately come to a stop. It's extremely jarring. And it's not just the physics that are horrible, the level design is trash too. The game is extremely reliant on speed boosters. A booster every now and then is fine, but they're way too frequent in this game. Going top speed is supposed to be like a reward that you have to earn, and they're just constantly handing it out like it's fucking candy. And dear God. Dear fucking God. The homing attack? The homing attack? The thing that was only added to the 3D Sonic games out of necessity? Bouncing on enemies is supposed to be fun, not a lifeless chore. Remember when killing enemies took skill? Remember when taking the top path in a Sonic game required you to build up speed and launch yourself up high or do some tricky platforming? Now you just have to press A 5 times. And why the fuck do you uncurl from a ball after launching in the air? What the fucking hell is the point of this change? They literally give you no choice but to use the shitty fucking homing attack. Fuck dude, 3 acts? We've been over this! Literally everyone understands that 2 acts is the perfect amount. Only 4 new zones? Special stages based on the Sonic 1 special stage? Who the fuck likes the Sonic 1 special stages? Not to mention these ones have timers and ring gates, and you don't even control Sonic, you rotate the entire stage. These are fucking garbage. Hey look, the ending is just Sonic 1's ending again. What's the fucking point in calling this game Sonic 4 if it's just a pale imitation of the previous games? Splash Hill, Casino Street, Lost Labyrinth, Mad Gear. This is literally just Green Hill, Casino Night, Labyrinth, and Metropolis zones. If you're going to straight up reuse old zones, at least have the common fucking decency to admit it like Sonic Mania. Or at least bring some new ideas to the table. What the fuck is Sonic 4 bringing to the table? Oh my god. Holy shit. What the fucking hell is this? Stop, please, just go back to bringing nothing new to the table. Go back to just being shitty versions of old levels, please! These new level gimmicks are fucking atrocious. They even managed to make something basic like swinging on a vine feel like shit. This is fucking embarrassing. Yeah, I really want a shitty minecart segment in my Sonic game. Fuck you! Honestly, it's kind of impossible to truly put into words how fucking abysmal this game is. You really need to play it for yourself to understand how horrible it feels. The bosses in this game are so acutely unfun. And the worst part is after you beat the last one, you have to fight all 4 of them again in a shitty fucking boss rush before you can fight the final boss, the Death Egg robot from Sonic 2. Did the people making this game not have any original ideas? I know some of you are losing your shit, but Cybershell Sonic Mania has the Death Egg robot too. Yeah, as the boss of the first level. That's an idea that's actually kind of funny and interesting, and it looks way better than this 24-hit slog of a final boss, complete with a bullshit insta-kill attack on the final hit. In conclusion, Sonic 4 Episode 1 is fucking dog shit. 1 out of 10. Never ever play this game. And seriously, fucking spare me all the "you're exaggerating, it's not that bad" comments. Fuck you for saying it's not that bad. That's why we get garbage games like this in the first place. That's why it's taken over 20 years to get a real sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So why would anyone ever possibly like this game? Well, let's look at the potential reasons. Number 1, they're retarded. Number 2, they're just a little baby boy and they don't know any better. Like, if this was the first game you ever played, I couldn't really hold it against you for liking it. It just means you need to refine your taste and get better standards. Don't do it for me, do it for yourself. And Sega was aware of the harsh negative response from fans. Why don't we look at this Destructoid article from 2010? I never had a problem with Sonic 4's physics, but fans around the world are furious. Just do a YouTube search for Sonic 4 physics and you'll see a legion of rage-fueled videos from confirmed virgins. Sonic Team Director Takashi Iizuka has finally addressed the anger. Be careful though, his answer won't please. In this title, we have not done a straight port of the gameplay from the Genesis games, but rather updated it with actions which could not be done in previous titles, like ceiling running, explains Iizuka. These changes probably made for a different feel to the longtime Sonic fans. We're happy for feedback like this, and we'll make sure we can improve the quality even further in upcoming titles. Pathological haters Sonic Retro have already called out Iizuka on being a lazy, clueless director, and there's little doubt that other prominent members of the terrifying Sonic fanbase will take up their pitchforks over his unsatisfactory comments. Don't get me wrong, I think Iizuka's response was lame, but only because he should have said, "No, the physics are not exactly like Sonic 2 because the game isn't Sonic 2. Sega's released a billion ports of Sonic 2 if that's what you want. Now shut the fuck up, you bizarre, furry bastards." Jesus Christ, who wrote this fucking drivel? Probably some utterly irrelevant ass clown with even less Twitter followers than me. Jim Sterling? Fuck you, Jim, some games journalist you turned out to be. I can't respect a man who has no problem with the physics in Sonic 4. And fuck you for thinking people who wanted Sonic 4 to play like Sonic 2 or 3 are crazy. Hey, guess what, genius? Turns out people do want a new 2D Sonic game with classic physics. Wow, who could have possibly predicted that? Alright, well, I'd never played it before, but I guess I have no fucking choice but to look at Episode 2 as well. Although frankly, I don't know how the fuck people played Episode 1 and decided they wanted more of this shit. I will say up front that this game is definitely better than Episode 1. But honestly, that's not saying much. Is a 2 out of 10 good just because it's better than a 1 out of 10? Not that episode 2 is necessarily a 2 out of 10. It might even be a 3 out of 10, or a 4 out of 10, or if you're an absolute fucking madman, a 5 out of 10. Notice how the series only got to episode 2, which means it got fucking cancelled? No series that ever launched with an episode 1 was ever planned to only have 2 episodes. Also, the very idea of an episodic Sonic game is fucking repugnant to me. Why would you want to support a model where you get 4 new zones every 18 months? Maybe if all 3 episodes were released within 1 year, that'd be one thing. But these are just shitty, short, standalone games disguised as episodic content. It's not like you can go back and use Tails in episode 1. It's not like what you do in episode 1 affects episode 2, you still have to collect all the fucking Chaos Emeralds again. The graphics are definitely less disgusting, and the music is a little bit better, I guess. Although neither of them are exactly what I would call good. I guess the central marketing gimmick is that there's Tails now? Wow, look guys, Tails! Tails is a playable character, holy fucking shit! Wow, that's incredible! So is the plan for Knuckles to be in episode 3 if that ever came out? If this is really Sonic fucking 4, why do I have to wait 3 games to be able to play as Knuckles again? If this is really Sonic fucking 4, why are we regressing in features? Why do we have to work our way back up to having Tails and Knuckles? They should be playable by default. This isn't that fucking hard to understand, people. When people bitch and moan about Sonic having too many friends, they're not talking about fucking Tails and Knuckles. Anyways, the new main mechanic in episode 2 is the ability to do combo moves with Tails, like flying or this extremely stupid looking roll attack. I actually don't think this is a bad idea in theory, but holy fucking shit, you won't believe how poorly it's implemented. Every single time you use one of these abilities, time stops and I have to watch a little 2-second cutscene, and you use these combo moves all the fucking time. This is fucking ridiculous. Come on, just make the moves happen right away. What the fuck is this? It might seem like a nitpick, but I swear it ruins the entire flow of the game. It feels like you're constantly screeching to a halt, which is not exactly what you want in a fucking Sonic game. Also, this roll lets you go from a standstill to a million miles an hour at the press of a button. And this isn't like the spin dash, this is some top speed shit. And for once, you don't even have to hold right at all times, it just propels you forward on its own. Check out my controller inputs for this section. Talk about stellar gameplay. Flying also doesn't even feel good. I mean, the game's obviously a lot easier now that anytime you miss your jump, you can just press the "oh shit, I need to fly now" button. But to compensate for that, they gave Tails some sort of degenerative muscle disease because he can only carry you for a couple seconds. Again, the idea of doing combo moves with Tails isn't bad, but the moves aren't good or fun to use, which is kind of a fucking problem. Anyways, the zones are definitely more original than the first game, I guess. I mean, this is clearly just a take on Aquatic Ruin with some elements from Marble Garden mixed in. But that's a step in the right direction, actually, remixing zones together instead of mindlessly rehashing shit. The bosses in this game aren't particularly fun, but they're definitely better in the first episode. Anyways, this snow level seems okay. The music sucks, but the general concept isn't too bad. Oh look, it's that guy again, Bubbles! Even though he was in the last level, he's in this level too. Because it's not like zones having their own unique badniks was a staple of the series and went a long way to making zones actually feel unique and not blur together like some sort of giant rehashed nightmare or anything. No, let's just take Bubbles from Marble Garden and make him the designated homing attack bitch and put him in every single fucking level. Okay, using some bark as a snowboard or whatever, that's alright. Even though it's just another soulless rehash of an iconic Sonic moment, at least they're trying. Hey, wait a fucking second. You tell me every single time he touches the snow, he just so happens to find a piece of bark the size of a snowboard? What the fuck? This shit is retarded, dog. I mean, I don't really give a fuck. My main problem with this part is that it's just not very fun. Although to be fair, the snowboarding part of Sonic 3 wasn't much in terms of gameplay either, it pretty much just exists to look cool. The special stages are based on Sonic 2, of course, and they're alright, I guess. I mean, I was never a huge fan of the half-pipe special stages anyways, but if you are, you might enjoy these ones. Definitely a huge improvement over the garbage special stages from Episode 1. You know, the little transitions between zones were always one of my favorite things they added for Sonic 3 and Knuckles, which is of course completely fucking absent from these games. Instead going back to the Sonic 1 and 2 system of having a signpost. Nothing wrong with signposts and capsules or anything, I just like the mini-bosses and zone transitions from 3. It's just another cool addition that's nowhere to be found in Sonic 4, like the elemental shields, which gave Sonic a variety of movement options. Oh wait, I forgot, I guess I'm just crazy for wanting Sonic 4 to have basic features that were in Sonic 3 18 years prior to its release. Anyways, I do at least appreciate when there are differences between the acts, like Act 2 actually being on the roller coaster is a nice touch. Like I said, I don't really mind this idea of remixing Sonic tropes, like mixing the snow level with the carnival level, although honestly this zone doesn't really deliver on any interesting snow or carnival related gimmicks. The boss of this zone being Metal Sonic is pretty cool. The fact this fight has 2 tracks is kind of cool. The music actually isn't too bad for once. Oh my god, I can almost feel a spark of life in this game. But god damn, dude. Despite one brief second where I almost forgot I was playing Sonic 4 and it felt like I was playing an actual video game made by human beings, these fucking animations, man, they're so bad and they keep taking me out of the experience. And it's so much worse during an auto-scrolling boss where it's even more jarring to be constantly stopping time every few seconds. Again, I'm sure there are people out there watching this who probably think it doesn't seem so bad, but it actually makes me not want to use my special moves unless I absolutely have to, which is a bad fucking sign. Next stage is Oil Desert. It's Oil Ocean, but with sand. Not the most creative idea ever, but still better than this shit from Episode 1. You know what really fucking bugged me about this game? The fact they show you a stupid little tutorial screen like this every single time you're in a place where you need to use your special move. Like, I didn't mind them in the first zone. I mean, it's the first zone and you're still teaching people about the special moves. But then they were in the second zone, and the third zone, and the fourth zone. They're even in the final fucking encounter with Metal Sonic. Like, come on guys, it's the end of the game and you don't trust people to remember to use tails to fly? I know Sonic games are supposed to be accessible for all ages, but how low are we trying to go here? Are we making sure that fucking 3-year-olds aren't confused? Also, I can appreciate trying to warn players about bottomless pits. It really sucks when you're trying to make a jump in a game and you don't even know if falling will cause you to die or fall to a lower part of the level. So that's all well and good. But come on guys, this is just fucking obnoxious. This is too much signposting. We get it, it's a fucking bottomless pit. The next zone is just Sky Chase and Wing Fortress, and you know what? I'm kind of okay with that. And finally is Death Egg Zone, which isn't a fully fledged level, it's just the last 2 bosses of the game. It uses a gravity gimmick, kind of like the Death Egg from Sonic and Knuckles, but in a very poor and jarring way. The final boss is at least something original, but not particularly memorable. So what's the exciting conclusion to Sonic 4? The Death Egg starts to explode all around them, so Sonic and Tails hop in escape pods and just barely escape before the Death Egg doesn't explode. What the fuck? And no, the ending doesn't even change if you get all the Chaos Emeralds. Absolutely fucking pathetic. Overall, yes, it is better than Episode 1, but that doesn't automatically make it good. I think people may have just gone in with insanely low expectations, and just because it wasn't as terrible as the first game, they're like, hey, this game isn't bad. That said, if you liked Episode 2, I can kind of understand why it has moments approaching competence. Although if you liked Episode 1, may God have mercy on your wretched soul. Frankly, there's a lot more I could have said about why I don't like this game, but it's kind of a double-edged sword. If I put out some 70-minute long Plinkett-esque video of me just going through the game and ripping it apart on a moment-by-moment basis, then a ton of people would just dismiss the video as whiny nitpicking. But if I only discuss my broad general complaints, then a ton of people are going to complain that I didn't do a thorough enough job explaining. Hopefully this video is at least enough to give you a general idea of why I think it's safe to say Sonic 4 sucks shit. Alright, before ending the video, I need to address a few points that came up in the comments of my last video. I saw a lot of people defending Sonic 4 saying, at least it's not as bad as Sonic 06. Look buddy, when you have to resort to saying it's not as bad as Sonic 06, you have just proven my point that the game is a piece of shit. A lot of people got very upset at me for all my fuck dimps hate speech. First of all, when I say fuck dimps, obviously all I mean is fuck the dimp staff that specifically worked on Sonic 4, not anyone who has ever worked for dimps on any game ever. When people say Sonic Team is shit for making Sonic 06, do you have to interject with, well actually, Sonic Team made Sonic 3 and Knuckles, so you can't say they're bad. All I'm saying is never forgive dimps for Sonic 4, and never forgive Sonic Team for Sonic 06. Or for Sonic 4, since they're the ones who allowed it to happen. And yes, I know Dimps has made some good Sonic games too. And you know what? I don't care. Sure, Sonic Advance 1 is pretty good, like a 7 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10 if I'm feeling generous. But it's not in the same league as Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Advance 2 is okay, I mean maybe a little worse, and Advance 3 is definitely a lot worse. Sonic Rush had a cute gimmick with the 2 screens, a good soundtrack by the guy who did the music for Jet Set Radio, and it gave us Blaze, who's a rad character. But that's it. I do not care for the boost gameplay in 2D. Again, these are just my opinions, but a lot of people seem to care about my opinions, probably because they're always right. Anyways, the game's certainly not terrible, but it's not great or anything, and I never played the sequel. I know Dimps was in charge of all the handheld versions of the main series games, and I haven't played any of them either. Maybe some of them were good, but I highly doubt there's anything in there that would rock my world. And yes, I know Dimps does good work on other games, like they made some good DBZ games or something. Great, fine. I'm only talking about their involvement with the Sonic series. My point is they've had like 13 fucking tries to make a truly great Sonic game, and they still haven't been able to pull it off. In fact, they seem to be getting worse at it over time. Compare that to the Sonic Mania boys, who are about to release a 10 out of 10 on their first fucking try. A lot of people commented with regards to the mobile ports of Sonic 1 and 2 not being brought to PC, but Cybershell, you can just emulate Android on your computer. I know. Do you actually think I wouldn't know about Android emulators? Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? You can't even begin to comprehend my autism power level. That's not the point. This is about justice. This is about what's fair and good for everyone. It's not just about me. Sure, I can get these games on PC no problem. But think of all the fucking normies out there who don't even know how to operate a Genesis emulator. I want these ports to be on Steam so they're easily accessible for everyone to play. Because people are going to want to go back and play those Genesis games after playing Sonic Mania. And I want them to have the best experience possible in revisiting those games. So maybe this insanely low IQ, Sonic was never good meme can finally start to die off. Oh, who am I kidding? There will always be people with shitty opinions on games. I'm making a video responding to Sonic 4 defenders for fuck's sake. One popular theory that a lot of people brought up is that Sega can't release the mobile port of Sonic 3 because of legal issues with regards to the music. All I have to say is that is not a good fucking excuse. Like, sure, you're probably right, that probably is the reason, but that doesn't mean we should just be okay with it. Are you seriously giving Sega a pass because they're so motherfucking hopelessly incompetent they can't even re-release their best game because they don't even own the music in it? That's no good. Besides, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, they have a team of lawyers, and they still can't get this shit figured out? Fuck your weak-ass legal team, Sega. Give me a retainer and a car battery, and I guarantee I can get the rights to that music within a month. Maybe if we're lucky, after Mania sells 50 billion copies, they'll let the Sonic Mania team actually make an enhanced port of 3, and then they'll package all 3 games together and release them on Steam or something. That would be ideal, but don't get your hopes up. Anyways, what was the point of this video? Oh yeah, Sonic is cool and I like him. Everyone go pre-order 10 copies of Sonic Mania right now.